Have you been dragging yourself through your days, feeling exhausted, foggy, or even unmotivated, despite trying to do everything right? What if I told you that a simple vitamin or mineral deficiency could be the issue here? Studies show that over 90% of people are deficient in at least one key nutrient, and most don't even realize it. And these deficiencies, they don't just affect your mood, they can sap your energy, mess with your focus, and make it almost impossible to feel like yourself. And in today's video, I'm breaking down the 7 most common nutritional deficiencies that might be holding you back. And we'll cover why these deficiencies are so common in today's world, how they can mess with your mental and physical performance, and most importantly, simple and science-backed solutions to fix them. So stick around to the end, because I'll also share a game-changing tip about testing for these deficiencies, something that even most health professionals overlook. And before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video on optimizing your health and your performance. Alright, let's get started with the first deficiency. And it's one that almost everyone has heard of, but not enough people actually check for. So let's kick things off with vitamin D, which is a very crucial steroid prohormone that impacts everything from your mood and immune system to your energy levels. And here's the concerning part. About 40% of people in the US and Europe are deficient in vitamin D. And when your levels are low, it can leave you feeling very tired, foggy, or even unexplainably down. Vitamin D is essential for brain health, and it works through several important mechanisms. It regulates production and secretion of neurotransmitters. Think of serotonin or dopamine. It acts as a neuroprotective agent by reducing inflammation in the brain. It promotes the growth of new neurons in the hippocampus, which is a key brain area for learning and memory. And it even supports the expression of growth factors. Think of BDNF, which is crucial for brain plasticity. So the good news is there's an easy fix. Start by asking your doctor for a 25-hydroxy vitamin D test. And while optimal levels vary, most experts recommend aiming for 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter. And if supplementation is needed, work with your healthcare provider to find the right dose. Most people start around 2,000 to 5,000 IU daily. For better absorption, take it with your largest meal of the day, especially one containing fat. And don't forget, getting regular safe sun exposure is still the most effective way to maintain vitamin D levels. Just remember that factors like your location, season, and your skin tone, they all influence how much vitamin D your body can produce. Alright, now that we've covered vitamin D, let's move on to another nutrient that's absolutely critical for your energy and your brain function. Vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is a crucial nutrient that serves as an essential enzymatic cofactor in your body and your brain. It's vital for cellular energy production, myelin synthesis, and DNA synthesis. And when your B12 levels are low, it can have a significant impact on your overall health and well-being. And there's certain medications like proton pump inhibitors, H2 receptor antagonists, and metformin, and they can all interfere with B12 absorption, increasing the risk of this deficiency. A B12 deficiency often develops gradually and can easily go unnoticed. Symptoms include fatigue, cognitive difficulties, and mood issues. And those that are at higher risk are vegans, vegetarians, individuals over 50, and anyone with conditions that affect nutrient absorption. Think of Crohn's disease or celiac disease. For an accurate diagnosis, standard serum B12 testing is useful, but measuring methylmalonic acid, or MMA, provides a more sensitive and more reliable indicator of actual B12 status. And if you're deficient, supplementing with methylcobalamin, the active form of B12, is really recommended. Typical doses range from 1,000 to 2,000 micrograms daily for oral supplements. And in more severe cases, especially if neurological symptoms are present, B12 injections may be necessary. Alright, moving on. Let's talk about a mineral that's involved in over 600 processes in your body, but is often overlooked. Magnesium is like the unsung hero of nutrients. It is involved in over 600 enzymatic processes in your body, including muscle and nerve function, regulating your stress response, and maintaining healthy blood pressure. Yet many people don't get enough from their diet. In fact, suboptimal magnesium intake affects up to 70% of adults, even though severe deficiency is rare in otherwise healthy individuals. If you're feeling anxious, struggling to sleep, or dealing with muscle twitches and cramps, magnesium might be what you're missing. It is a key player in regulating neurotransmitters and GABA receptors, which are both essential for sleep and mood. Plus, it's critical for proper muscle function and overall relaxation. Testing magnesium levels is not really that straightforward. Since less than 1% of your body's magnesium is found in the blood, standard blood tests can be quite misleading. For a more accurate picture, ask for an RBC magnesium test, which measures magnesium stored in red blood cells. If your levels are low, start with 300 to 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate or citrate. These forms are better absorbed and easier on the stomach than others. And don't forget to incorporate magnesium-rich foods, things like leafy greens, nuts, legumes, and whole grains into your meals if you digest those well. Alright, those are the first three big hitters: vitamin D, B12, and magnesium. And next up, we're diving into two more critical nutrients. So next on the list is iron, a very crucial mineral that plays a vital role in your energy levels and in your brain function. About 70% of your body's iron is found in hemoglobin, the protein responsible for carrying oxygen to your cells. So when your iron levels are low, both your body and brain can suffer from reduced oxygen delivery, leading to fatigue, brain fog, and even mood issues. If you've experienced unexplained fatigue, dizziness, shortness of breath, headaches, or found that simple tasks feel unusually challenging, iron deficiency could be the culprit. While it's more common in women, particularly those with heavy menstrual periods, anyone with gut absorption issues, a plant-based diet, or conditions like Crohn's disease or celiac disease can also be at risk. The best way to assess your iron status is through a combination of tests, as serum iron alone is not that reliable. These should include ferritin, which measures your iron stores, a complete blood count, and transferrin saturation. So for adults, ferritin levels below 15 nanogram per milliliter indicate absolute iron deficiency, while levels between 15 and 29 nanogram per milliliter suggest low iron stores. Also keep in mind that optimal ranges can vary by laboratory or gender. So to improve your iron levels, a natural approach I prefer is using desiccated spleen supplements and combine it with lactoferrin, taken every second day. This combination provides bioavailable heme iron, along with compounds that support immune function and iron metabolism. And unlike traditional iron supplements, which can be harsh on the digestive system, this approach with spleen and lactoferrin is often better tolerated. And of course, dietary sources remain key. Focus on iron-rich foods like lean red meat, legumes, or leafy greens. And to enhance the absorption, pair these with vitamin C-rich foods like citrus fruits or bell peppers. And just remember to avoid consuming iron with coffee or tea, as the polyphenols in those can significantly reduce absorption. It's usually best to wait at least an hour after consuming these beverages before having iron-rich meals or supplements. So iron is essential for delivering oxygen throughout your body. But now let's shift to something equally important for your brain structure and function. So omega-3s are very essential for brain health. DHA and EPA, the two key omega-3s found in fish oil, play critical roles in reducing neuroinflammation, supporting brain cell structure, and maintaining synaptic plasticity. DHA is particularly concentrated in brain tissue, making up a significant portion of brain fatty acids, and is very vital for neurotransmitter function and cognitive performance. So when your omega-3 levels are low, it can really affect your memory, your focus, and your mood. And research shows that higher blood levels of omega-3s are associated with better brain structure and enhanced cognition, especially if you reach middle age. In fact, studies have found that a higher omega-3 index is linked to a larger hippocampal volume and better abstract reasoning ability. The best way to check your omega-3 status is with the so-called omega-3 index test, which measures the percentage of EPA and DHA in your red blood cells. Ideally, your score should be between 8% and 12%. However, most Americans have an average index of around 5%, and levels in the UK are even worse, around 2.8%. To optimize your levels, aim to include fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, or sardines in your diet at least twice a week. For supplementation, research suggests that many people need between 1,000 and 2,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA daily to reach optimal levels. And if your omega-3 index is below 4%, you may need to increase your intake by 1,000 to 3,000 milligrams per day. When choosing a supplement, look for one that clearly specifies the exact amounts of EPA and DHA, and not just the total fish oil content. To maximize the absorption, take it with a meal that contains fat. One important note: if you have a heart condition or you're taking medications, talk to your healthcare provider before starting high-dose omega-3 supplementation. Doses that are above 4 grams per day may increase the risk of atrial fibrillation in some individuals. Alright, we covered the 5 of the big ones: vitamin D, B12, magnesium, iron, and now omega-3s. Let's move on to the final two nutrients that are often overlooked but are just as important for your mood and your energy. So next up is folate, also known as vitamin B9. This B vitamin is essential for brain function, and it plays key roles in neurotransmitter synthesis, DNA methylation, and repair. It's also very crucial for cellular energy production, DNA and RNA synthesis, and maintaining myelin in your nervous system. So when folate levels are low, it can impact everything from your mood to your cognitive performance. And if you've been dealing with fatigue, irritability, brain fog, depression, or even cognitive decline, it's definitely worth checking your folate status. So what's important to know is that even if your diet includes folate-rich foods, certain factors can interfere with absorption or utilization. These include alcohol use, certain medications like metformin, methotrexate, and anti-seizure drugs, gut health issues, or genetic variations in the MTHFR gene. So the best way to assess your folate status involves multiple markers, unfortunately. First-line testing should include serum folate, preferably fasting. Second-line testing may involve red cell folate and homocysteine levels for a more complete picture. And in more complex cases, specialized testing of individual folate forms or genetic testing may be necessary. To optimize your levels, focus on folate-rich foods. Think of dark leafy greens, legumes, asparagus, and citrus fruits. Animal sources like chicken liver, eggs, fish roe, and other organ meats also provide highly bioavailable forms of folate. And if you're supplementing, keep in mind that folic acid from supplements is better absorbed than food folate, with 85% bioavailability compared to 50%. However, it is essential to check your B12 status alongside folate levels, as high folate combined with low B12 can mask a B12 deficiency and potentially worsen neurological damage. The RDA for adults is 400 micrograms daily, with higher needs during pregnancy, which would be around 600, or if you regularly consume alcohol, also around 600. Folate is very essential for maintaining optimal brain function and energy metabolism. Now let's move on to the last one on the list, a mineral that's small but mighty. Zinc is a crucial trace mineral involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in your body. It plays essential roles in immune function, cell growth and division, protein synthesis, and wound healing. In the brain, zinc supports normal development and function, helps maintain the blood-brain barrier, and regulates neurotransmitter systems. And if you're dealing with frequent infections, loss of taste or smell, poor appetite, cognitive difficulties, or slow wound healing, all of these could be signs of low zinc levels. For men, zinc is particularly important for reproductive health and sexual function. In fact, zinc deficiency can lead to hypogonadism and related complications. To assess your zinc status, serum or plasma zinc testing is commonly used, though these tests have limitations due to tight homeostatic control. Results can also be affected by factors like inflammation, recent meals, and time of day. For a more accurate picture, doctors may consider your dietary intake and clinical symptoms alongside those blood tests. To boost your zinc levels, focus on zinc-rich foods like oysters, which provide more zinc per serving than any other food, as well as beef, shellfish, pork, or poultry. Plant-based sources like legumes, nuts, and whole grains, they also contain some zinc, but the bioavailability is much lower due to the phytates, which can inhibit absorption. If you need to supplement, zinc bisglycinate is a really good option because it's well absorbed and it's gentle on the stomach. And for those dealing with gut issues like gastritis or leaky gut, zinc carnosine may be especially beneficial as it supports gut healing. So it is generally recommended to stay under the allowance of 11 mg for adult men and 8 mg for women, and to avoid exceeding 40 mg per day unless you're working with a healthcare provider. Excessive zinc intake can lead to nausea, vomiting, and even copper deficiency. Alright, those are the 7 key deficiencies you need to know about: vitamin D, B12, magnesium, iron, omega-3s, folate, and zinc. So let's wrap this up with a few final thoughts on how to approach all of this holistically. Now here's the thing. While any of those deficiencies, they can affect your mood, your energy, your focus, they rarely happen in isolation. So your body functions as an interconnected system, and these nutrients work often synergistically. For example, magnesium is really essential for activating vitamin D. Zinc and iron compete for absorption, and B12 and folate work together in methylation cycles. So maintaining adequate nutrient status is very critical for overall cellular function and health. When analyzing deficiencies, it's not just about checking levels in isolation. It's about understanding the full picture. For instance, if B12 or folate is low, we also look at markers like homocysteine to assess methylation. If iron is low, we check ferritin along with other markers to get a clear understanding of your iron status. Symptoms like fatigue, brain fog, or mood changes, they're not random. They're definitely signals pointing to deeper imbalances. So whether it's impaired nutrient absorption, systemic inflammation, or even metabolic dysfunction, combining your symptoms with comprehensive testing is how we uncover the root causes. And if you're experiencing symptoms like depression, anxiety, fatigue, or brain fog, it's important to take a systematic approach. Start with comprehensive testing, including micronutrient panels to assess both serum and intracellular levels, inflammatory markers to evaluate systemic inflammation, complete blood count and metabolic panels for overall health, and specific nutrient testing tailored to your symptoms and risk factors. Remember, optimal levels often differ from what's considered normal. For example, a vitamin D level of 30 nanograms per milliliter might be labeled as sufficient, but research shows that levels between 40 and 60 nanograms are actually ideal for cognitive function, mood regulation, and immunity. Also, nutrient deficiencies often point to broader health issues, such as gut microbiome imbalances that impair nutrient absorption, chronic stress, which depletes key nutrients, environmental toxins, which interfere with nutrient utilization, dietary factors including food quality and diversity, individual variations in nutrient requirements. The key takeaway is that all of these nutrients, they don't work in isolation. They're part of complex networks. For example, your gut microbiome plays a critical role in nutrient absorption and metabolism, while inflammation can significantly impact how your body utilizes all of these nutrients. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And let me know which of these deficiencies surprised you the most. And if you're ready to take a comprehensive root cause approach to optimizing your health and performance, check the description for ways to work with me directly. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.